Hey friends, welcome to another devlog episode about my first video game ever, a 2.5D side-scrolling platformer about a small doggy knight's journey through a fantastical world, facing his fears to fight his way back home. I know it's been a while since the last video, and my apologies for that. I know I said I wasn't going to take as long for the next devlog episode. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, so I'll just awkwardly put them down here. There's no excuse for that other than as much free time as I can I spend on the video game, and a lot has changed. A lot of new things are added in there, and I want to walk you through that. But first of all, thank you so much for the insane support on the last video. I definitely didn't expect it to blow up as much as it has, so thank you for that, and welcome to all the new faces. All right, let's get into it. To start with, this is where we left off at the end of last video. I put together a working prototype build for 0.1 version that had the bare bones that you needed in order to play it outside of the Unreal editor. Immediately after that, I began working on the start menu. I want something that feels captivating, immersive, and just kind of gently leads you into the story of our main character. And so I tried to do something similar to some of the games that I love, like Horizon Zero Dawn, for example. To start with, I began playing around with Unreal's landscaping tools. I fiddled around with Gaia, even though I don't know that software all that well. And I managed to somehow put something together that kind of worked. I used a tutorial here on YouTube to figure out how to do a 3D widget menu. Speaking of which, there's a link down in the description to the tutorial that I used for this if you want to do that yourself. Ultimately, I wanted something simpler that isn't as distracting, so I ditched most of the camera movement stuff and even the level itself in favor of something a little bit more moody, ambient, that feels like Tyrion is relaxing after a long day of work. I'm quite happy with where it's at now, even though the FPS are still sometimes crashing when I'm using OBS, or it's crashing OBS altogether. Not sure why. Next came building a level. I wasn't expecting to struggle as much as I did with this, but since I'm not a level designer by trade, I have no idea what I'm doing. I drew some stuff on a piece of paper, learned a bit of Blender to quickly create some gray box models I could use in my start menu and level, and eventually discovered Cube Grid inside of the Unreal Engine modeling mode. If you don't know about that one, definitely look into it. It makes gray boxing so damn fast. Outside of gray boxing this first level, there's also a bunch of other features I worked on at the same time, which you can sort of see here, and I'll go over those in more detail in the next devlog. That said, you kind of saw them there already, like the signpost with the floating arrow that disappears when the outline starts showing up as you get close, the pop-up text, those little red box traces that technically stop your character from crashing through the wall, magma that rises, a camera volume that changes the distance of the camera to the character as you walk through it, and all in all, the changes started to happen very quickly. The game started to progress very fast with all the little features that I started to add in, and then I kind of just made the decision to axe this level because I felt that it was, I don't know, there was just something about it that didn't feel right, that felt too forced and convoluted and complicated. So starting again after scrapping this level, I tried to obviously apply all the things that I had learned, you know, just on a smaller scale with something that was more easily digestible and easy to work with. So I broke the level down into individual parts, I guess you could say. You know, part one being a certain length that then, you know, opens up part two, which is a certain length, and so on. And within those, I broke the level down into different zones. Zone 1, which might be the camp. Zone 2, which might be a forest path. Zone 3 could be a forest clearing, and so on and so on. While the level might not have as much set dressing, because I didn't get carried away this time for once, I feel this approach works out a lot better for me, as it makes it very clear as to what needs to happen in this level, while also opening up some storytelling opportunities for me as one part of the level connects to another part, by maybe using 2D animated cinematics to hide those transitions. All right, everyone, that's it for this episode. Like I said earlier, though, some of the things that you've seen there already and some of the other stuff that I've been working on, I'll be going over in more detail in the next few episodes, so keep an eye out for that. Again, I'm trying to keep these shorter so that they're more manageable to edit and allow me to get them out to you a little bit sooner than I have been so far. With all that said, if you ever want to follow along live with the development journey, I stream every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. If that schedule ever changes, I generally let people know on the Discord. You can find the link to that in the description down below. All right, everybody, thank you so much again, and take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.